Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Hello and welcome back to a all-new, brand-new Bone Throwers Theater, where we explore this whole new world that we've created. This is Johnny, welcoming you back.
This is Aaron.
This is Jeremy.
This is Jeff.
And I am Jordan, and we have an entirely new campaign planned out and ready to go. Well, not necessarily planned out. Today is going to be completely off the cuff for the next few episodes.
Today is discovering who our characters actually are.
Exactly. So, as you heard last session, we went ahead and did character creation. We came up with some very interesting, well-motivated characters, I think. They have a lot of interesting conflicts within their personalities just from the get-go. So let's go ahead and go around the table, starting with Johnny, and just introduce our character, say our name, you know, what we do for a living, that kind of thing.
Okay, my character name is, I am Chime North. I work as a reintegration officer for the military.
Now, for reintegration, are these soldiers that are coming back into service, or are they...
No, leaving the service.
They're leaving the service and coming back.
Going back into society.
And if I remember correctly, you're a part of the North Belisarian Army.
Yes.
And there is compulsory service. Next, we have Aaron with...
I'm going to be playing Sam Feluge. I am a recently separated person from the military, a part of the Espionage Corps.
Okay. And also, in addition to Sam...
I will also be... We're going to be doing some fun stuff with an elemental known as Shade that will be played by myself.
And Shade is a darkness elemental?
Shade is an air elemental.
Air elemental.
But...
Has a very dark temperament.
Very, very dark temperament is the plan.
Okay.
And my character is Julian Illix. He's also from North Belisara. He's a couple years removed from his mandatory service, and he was in the field of search and rescue, and now is a private investigator.
Okay. When you say search and rescue, are you talking about, like, in emergency situations?
Yes.
Okay,
Emergency.
rather than hunting down AWOL soldiers.
No, it was an emergency situation.
Okay.
I am going to be playing Jerr Lan. He is a recent, by recent I mean the past 5 years, a firefighter, also a water proxy. His water elemental doesn't have a sociopathic urge to reveal himself.
So, in other words, your proxy stays more below the surface.
Yeah, my proxy stays below
Shade
the surface than Jade does, so it doesn't really have a name or anything like that.
It may, just...
Well, not that I'm aware of. Though I do struggle with, my elemental.
You are the proxy.
Yeah.
That's part of the struggle.
That's part of the struggle, separating myself.
Uh-oh. Notes are already being passed. We haven't started playing yet.
No, it's nothing important.
But I'm trying to keep my water elemental undercover
Okay.
a little bit.
Don't want people to know you have elemental.
Yeah.
Well, that also factors into your character being a lot older than the rest of them.
Yes, that's why I want to keep it
Yeah, we're all...
undercover.
The rest of us are like mid-20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my character is mid-200s. So
It's got a 2 in it. It starts with a 2.
What's your physical appearance?
I look to be about 40.
Okay.
So, even with your appearance, you're the old man of the group.
So can we call you Poppy?
No.
I have Poppy.
It's like that one episode of Inspectors where we called Mike's character Gramps all the time.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good episode. So, we haven't really discussed too much of what we're going to be playing. Like you said earlier, this is our discovery episode, like where we're basically going to go around and just see what happens, like what develops out of the storylines and see how you guys meet together and all that. I was just assuming that because most of you have some kind of connection to North Belisara, that was going to be the at least the country that we start off in. We have some other countries listed in our world that we could go to. There are a couple big rivals. In addition to North Belisara, the major powers are Marnaline and Centauro. And then we also have a newly formed continent called Tetris. And that one, it's a smaller continent that's between North Belisara and Marnaline. And we don't know too much about Petris at this point. So there might be some discovery there. There's also some undiscovered land that might have people groups that we've not yet met. So I like the fact that this world is a little open-ended. That allows us to get some interesting story play. I was thinking that we could go ahead and start in a city that was already established in the world building that we did. Mm-hmm. So we have a couple of different options. We have the domed city of Greenhaven, which was domed because of the weather.
Yeah, because
it's super cold. And then we also have Consiglia.
That's the capital city
of North Belisara?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you guys want to start off?
For Julian's character, it kind of makes sense to start off in Consiglio, because that's where his most recent story points in his background have taken place.
Right, and that sounds fair. Does anybody else have any?
No, my character's sort of a nomad. Every 5 to 10 years, he wanders to a new place.
That works for Sam.
So it's about time for him to start moving on from being a firefighter. So.
As long as there's a military base there, I can be there. So.
Oh yeah, there's
in
a
the capital city.
They have a fairly impressive garrison, I would imagine.
I would think so.
My, what an impressive garrison you have.
That's what she said.
That's true. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody forgot for a moment that Aaron's playing character Sam as a female in disguise.
As a male.
Yes, female disguised as male.
So.
Tyrone spit on the ground quite loudly. Oh, pooh.
Johnny did that once. Also in Inspectors.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, where would you guys like to start? Does anybody in particular have something that they would like to do?
This could be an instance where my character and Jeremy's meet up. Could be fighting a fire.
Okay.
In the area that he could be showing up to investigate if it was a fire elemental. I think that could be an idea.
I feel like we're playing Fiasco.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal of this session. So just to describe, we're using, instead of Mini-6 this time, we're using the Open D6 system, and we're primarily pulling from the D6 Adventure source book. Hopefully we'll be able to supplement that with things from other books as time goes by, but for right now, that's where we're starting. How often do buildings catch on fire? Because as we've established before, this world is in a bit of an ice age. It's very cold outside.
Yeah, which typically that's when you have more house fires.
Right, exactly, because people are trying to stay warm. They really need good chimney sweeps in this world.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know, Toad was well on his way until he died.
Yeah, not my fault.
Excuse me?
You're the one who opened your mouth.
Yes. I was sort of imagining that most of the cities, like especially the major cities, would be like domed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that they
are more
would have some more climate control.
Okay.
Yeah.
To make it more livable for the population.
So instead of being -30, it's positive 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like warm. You're like you're gonna walk out in shorts and a t-shirt, but it's not like you're not gonna freeze if you're outside for more than 5 minutes.
And since this is an artificially created ice age, it's probably more extreme than...
It could be. Maybe certain parts.
Yeah.
Well, we are pretty far north, so
right.
I imagine it would be a little more...
And the polar ice caps are very close to the continent.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the map, you can see that there's some parts where it looks like they're only a couple hundred miles apart, or a couple hundred miles apart.
Yeah, a cold day could probably build a bridge.
Yeah.
So are we looking at getting all of the characters together right now, or are
eventually?
Like to start off?
To start off the game.
would we do more individual spots or coupling spots?
That depends on what you guys want to do.
Okay.
I was imagining that by the end of this gaming session, so the next 4 episodes or so, all of the group would be together.
Yeah.
Would at least know each other.
Yes.
In one form or fashion.
So we've all interacted
Yes.
somehow.
So here's an idea. We have somebody who is being separated from the military dishonorably because they cannot control their fire elemental.
Okay.
And Chime is actually in charge of the separation.
Something happens. He goes a little rogue for a second and starts fire in the separation facility.
Yeah, that could make sense. So let's go ahead and set the scene.
Okay.
Chime, go ahead and describe what your office looks like.
I'm here at this point. I've been working in this department for a while now, a couple of years now. So I actually do have an office. I'm not one of the cubicle rats.
Was this something that you've always done, or is this, like you said,
I did my basic training. I did my term out in the field, and then while I was out in the field, I got promoted. Advanced in rank, and they saw my abilities at talking to people.
Okay.
And decided that was the appropriate place to place me.
And do you like this office job compared to what you were doing in the field?
Oh, absolutely. I don't like conflict.
Conflict ain't your thing.
No. So my office itself is not a very large office. Maybe 8 by 10 office. Room for a desk and a chair.
Okay. Like, do you interview these individuals one-on-one in your office?
Yes. Because I'm in a more advanced position, I deal with people who have had more specialized training, and so they have a little bit harder time reintegrating.
All right, so the individual that you're going to be interviewing is a guy named Oriel Pellick.
Okay.
He was in the mountain range.
Okay.
And things were not going well. He was not acclimating well to his assignment. Like, I would say that earth elementals are probably like the engineering core. Yes. Water elementals we've discussed are kind of the med core.
Yeah.
Air elementals
or more the espionage
and flight. Of course, you can have non-proxies.
Oh yeah, no, because it's mandatory service for
everyone. Fire elemental probably would be like combat.
Yeah. Special operations, combat.
The Marines.
Yeah. The grunts. So
we blow things up.
Yeah.
The more fire elements tend to go into the more aggressive career paths.
Right.
Oriel was working in the mountains.
Yeah, he was working in the mountains. He was infantry.
Is he a proxy or normal or a Nate, or is it unknown?
He's a proxy. He didn't start off as a proxy. Well, he went through basic as in common. Somewhere along the lines during his training, he actually bonded with a fire elemental.
Okay.
But he was infantry before. He was stationed in the Southern Mountain Range. And it seems like actually the bonding was not something that he was intending.
Okay, so it was a side effect of some action.
Yeah, and that's actually the reason why he's being separated early. Is because he's not dealing with the bonding well.
Okay.
They go ahead and they bring him into your office, and he's sitting at the table, and it's like he's got these giant oven mitts on his hands. Because they're trying to keep his power contained and everything like that.
So if he's being dismissed, that means he's already done some of the assigned therapy that military has.
Right.
And it's not helping.
Right.
So is he in conflict with his elemental is the question.
Yeah.
Now, are there outer offices? Like, he's got an inner office, and there would be like a receptionist, or...
So, what I would imagine is that this is a multi-floored building, like a, we'll say, 6-story building.
Okay.
And it's mostly put together by basically wood, and the outer parts of the building are earth that's been thrown up into the air by the earth elementals. So, and then the interior is completely put together by carpenters and tradesmen. So it's like you think concrete, but done with magic. There's an open floor plan For the most part, like a lot of the office is open floor, and there are rows of desks on each level. We'll say there's about 40 desks per floor.
Call center style.
Yeah, but these are just people who are processing paperwork and filing and doing the mundanities of military work before there are computers to handle all that. And then the people who work with the soldiers being separated are in offices on the perimeter of this open room. This is on the third floor.
Third floor. So at the same time that this guy is being brought into Chime's office, Julian is actually walking into the lobby of this building.
Okay. Why are you in the building at this point?
That's what I was asking. Is there like a main reception
downstairs on the first floor? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So he would walk up to whoever's behind the desk and introduce himself. Says, "Yes, my name is Julian Illix. I spoke to somebody on the phone recently. I'm investigating a string of arson that I believe a fire elemental is responsible for, and so far my investigation has led here. I spoke to somebody about questioning some people that have to do with organizing and keeping track of the elementals that are being used at this facility."
All right. The receptionist is a young soldier. It looks like they're rather low ranking, probably like a lance corporal just recently assigned.
Person who didn't do well in basic.
Well, not on the military side of things.
Yeah.
Everybody in this office is pretty much administrative corps.
Yeah.
So this secretary, lance corporal, it says just one moment, and they look through their calendar. Oh yes, I do see a Mr. Illix here. You are going to be meeting with a what's your rank?
I'm not familiar with military ranks as well as I should be for this.
Well, you can make it up because this is the made-up world.
You can be whatever you want it to be.
The rank of
That might be a little hard for me to pronounce. I don't even know how to write that down.
I'll probably be like lieutenant.
A lieutenant?
Yeah.
Okay, so low-ranking officer.
Yeah, low-ranking officer.
A lieutenant is perfect for that. Just in the real world, you stay lieutenant for a long time, and then you stay captain for a long time, and if you're lucky, then you become a major.
Yeah.
So,
just think back to Terra Proximus.
yeah.
And as a lieutenant, everyone generally assumes you're a little special.
That you don't know what you're talking
Maybe
about.
not here. Maybe not in this world, but in the real world.
Said the actual veteran sitting at the table. All right, so
Sorry, Lieutenant Baker.
You're calling someone out. Okay. All right, so you'll be seeing Major Ilian, and they give you the directions to Major Ilian's office, and say when you get there, then their secretary will give you further instructions.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
All right, so Lieutenant North.
Yes. So, Mr. Pellick.
Yes.
I understand you've been having some troubles dealing with your newfound abilities.
I really don't understand what is happening. I was fine in the field, and then one night when I was on patrol, it was just like fireworks went off in my head, and the next thing I know, like everything was burning around me.
Yes. I understand, and it's not an easy thing to deal with. We've had a few people come through here with similar stories. Unfortunately, you're among the ones who have the harder time adapting.
Could you lower the temperature?
Absolutely. Type a quick note that it's being taken care of.
It's so hot in here.
Yes. Well, do me a favor and just keep calm. When I understand that's the first step to controlling what you have found.
Okay.
I'm here to help you connect with doctors outside of the military and help you find work.
I mean, what kind of work is available for someone in my situation?
Well, there's several different types of jobs. Mechanics, foundry work, you were just infantry here, correct?
That's right.
Did you have any career goals?
I really didn't. I mean, it was mandatory service. I was just...
I understand that's why you were doing it. Enlisted, but even before that, what were your goals in life?
I wanted to be a painter.
Painter. Well, there can be lots of art done with fire. It's not necessarily painting, but definitely art.
I'm really sorry. Could you lower the temperature again?
There's only so much we can lower the temperature. I'm sorry, but...
You're like seeing beads of sweat just like running down the collar of his uniform. Are you
nervous about something right now?
I'm just really hot.
Take a breath. Calm down.
We're going to cut over to Julian for the moment.
What floor is Major Illion's office?
The 5th floor.
5th floor.
So the way that you're going up, it's an elevator, but it's an elevator that's being pushed by air elementals. Like they've been captured in these pods that sit in like balls at the corners of this platform, and then you tell the attendant what floor you want to go to, and then they work with the elementals to actually levitate it up to the particular level.
So is the attendant an actual proxy? Or,
yes.
Okay.
The attendant...
Or is it an android?
I would imagine it's a proxy.
Okay.
Military doesn't like the androids so much.
Probably not.
Depends on the military.
I mean, Lieutenant Commander Data is not really going to show up in this.
So is that the only option, or is there like an actual staircase?
There is an actual staircase, but this is the public access.
It's an emergency only staircase.
Oh, so on his way up, Julian is going to say that to the attendant.
Okay.
It's like, you guys should install a public access stairwell.
Well, you're not the first to say that, but I'm not the one who makes the decisions in terms of architecture.
Not just architecture. I mean, yeah, you are essentially using these elementals to get this elevator where it needs to go, but that's not very safe.
Well, here's your floor. We'll see you on your trip down. And so, I guess you exit the elevator.
Yeah, just walk out the elevator.
It's one of those old-time elevators where there's the arrow that goes on the half circle. So, all of a sudden you hear a ding, and it's like you're able to get off. And this floor is different from the 3rd floor where Chime's office is located. This one is, it's far more closed off. There's a very ornate feel to it. Basically, there are glass doors. Like when you go into the lobby, there's like a long hallway, and it appears there are several different offices, and each office has like a sign next to it listing like the organization that it's a part of. Like, for example, you have medical records, you have artillery inventory, things of that nature, like listed along the side. And the one that you want is the elemental personnel office, and it has a real fancy logo. The logo is actually divided in like a circle, divided into 4 quadrants. One quadrant has like a cyclone.
Okay.
The other one has boulders that are stacked up.
Okay.
The third has flame in it. The final one has a giant like drop of water, and it's very ornately decorated. Clear glass doors, like mentioned before. There's metallic handles. You go inside, there's really nice plants, office plants, just decorating. It looks a cut above what you would expect from the rest of the building from the outside.
Okay.
The secretary there says to you, yes, can I help you?
Yes, I'm Mr. Illix. I'm here to meet with somebody about an investigation into some arsons.
Well, the major is busy at the moment, but he will be with you as soon as he's available. You can have a seat on one of our couches. And they gesture over to a nice little seating area.
Is there anyone else in there?
No, it doesn't seem to be.
Okay.
Not just like the secretary and some of the military personnel working in the office. And we'll go ahead and cut back over to Jerr. What is your day like when you first start off?
Well, I go in to the firehouse, I check my gear, make sure it all works.
Okay.
Make sure it's easy to get on and off. All the buckles are not rusty or whatever. And then I just hang out.
I'm assuming you work with a team?
Yeah.
How many people are on your fire squad?
There's about 40 people that work in the building, rotations throughout the day, because it's a 24-hour deal. So I guess like 10 at a time would be in the building, unless there's need for more. So on a regular call, there would be 4 to 5 of us going out.
Is everybody who works for the fire department, are they all water elementals?
No. There's commons and a couple of innate.
What's more prevalent?
Like 1 innate.
Okay.
Or proxies or commons more prevalent at the firehouse?
At the firehouse, common. We have a couple of different kinds of proxies. There's an earth proxy, another water proxy, and a wind proxy. An air proxy, I guess.
And you are a firefighter, but do you specialize as like a medic or anything like that? Or
Yeah. I specialize as medic and help with actually putting out the fires if I can.
But you're mostly like helping people who might be injured or anything like that.
Well, being trained as a medic,
Okay.
that's what I do.
Is there anything interesting that happens to you, like, or anything going on at the building when you get there?
Nothing really. I mean, someone brought in donuts, so that's always exciting. There's someone's leftover taco in the fridge. It's about to get eaten.
They didn't put their name on it.
No names. Must be one of the new guys. You gonna learn today?
That's breakfast right there.
That is breakfast right there.
What is the most common way to get around the domed cities?
Around the outer edge, there's monorails and trains that go into the center like spokes on a wheel.
Okay. The monorails are elevated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're up above normal walking and driving areas.
Now let me ask you this. If there's a fire in the town, how does that affect the oxygen levels within the dome?
I mean, maybe a little bit it would affect it, but not enough to make it detrimental.
Okay. I'm imagining inside the dome you don't see a lot of precipitation, except for like fountains and sprinklers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or if you need water for like fighting fires, you definitely have a hookup for that.
Yeah. Oh, and just because there's an ice age doesn't mean there's ice everywhere outside the dome.
I
It
wouldn't
could just be like barren, cold desert.
Yeah. But when it snows,
not necessarily.
Certain
snow.
parts are.
Certain parts are.
Yeah.
in Consiglio, it's actually on the northwestern part of the country, like, and it's actually towards the ocean. So
Yeah, it would be pretty icy there.
yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a break here, and when we come back, we will continue on.
Hey, Mets, have you ever read Dragonlance?
Dragonlance, that sounds familiar.
Well, it was a Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yeah?
That they turned into a book.
Okay.
And here's the crazy part, though. Let me just pitch this to you, all right? The narrator of the book is actually unreliable. He's spinning us one story while trying to tell another, and you have to kind of piece together from contextual clues or missing information exactly what's going on. It's really, really deep and really, really cool.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. It's about an annoying gnome.
So it's more like my life.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, it's a good thing we have better novels than that to analyze on Alzabo's Soup, where we literally become our favorite authors by devouring portions of their brains.
Devouring brains, of course, means reading books. And over at Alzabo's Soup, we dive deep into some of our favorite novels, especially those by famed author Gene Wolfe.
If you're interested, please come check us out. We're online at alzabosoup.libsyn.com or on any of your favorite podcast hosting services.
I'm sorry if I offended any Dragonlance listeners.
No, you're not.
And we are back after you finish up your breakfast of stolen taco.
Yeah.
You hear someone saying in the background, "Where did my breakfast go?" Like someone who is just getting off of shift.
I don't say a thing. I just continue going about my business. But only because he didn't put his name on it.
Sam, what are you doing at this point in the day?
So it's still early morning.
Early morning. It's about, we'll say that it's about 8:30.
So Sam's very much a creature of habit. I've gotten up nice and early, and the first thing I do every day is I sweep my room and make sure that it doesn't look like I live there. I'm used to traveling at a moment's notice and not wanting people to follow me.
In terms of like your living situation, are you like in a efficiency, or
It's a really, really small apartment. I have a bed and a chair and a fridge.
do you have like a wardrobe or anything, or do you just keep everything in a bag?
It stays in a bag. So the first thing I do is I wake up and I sweep and I make sure that, I keep some food in the fridge, but it's like staples, things that most people are, nothing that, I don't keep anything around that ties the room to me.
I would imagine you haven't done any like hanging up posters or paintings or anything like that.
No, I have not.
Okay. What do you do once you finish with the cleaning of your room?
So right now, every morning I have to report to my separation officer.
Okay.
And get because I'm currently without a job, so get my list of places to go to attempt to apply and try to find employment after the service.
So essentially, this sounds like a unemployment office specifically for soldiers.
Yes.
Part of my job.
Yeah. So asking just out of game, is that how it's normally handled?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No, not at all.
It's like pretty much you're done. See ya.
There is a training period where you learn to write resumes and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, go in and I see my separation officer, so that way I can get my task list for the day. As well as if I have to see any counselors or if I have like a medical appointment.
What time do you have to meet with your separation officer? Around 10 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, you're going to the same building where Julian and Chime are, because, you're meeting with your separation officer. So we'll say that it's about 9:30 in the morning at this point. So Chime, this guy, Oriel Pellick, seems to be getting a little warmer under the collar as he's going on. He's like reaching up with his oven mitts and he's like wiping his face quite a bit.
All right, I'm starting to panic just a little bit myself, but trying to keep it cool. Mr. Pellick, if you can't calm down and control yourself, we're gonna have to detain you again.
You mean
we'll put you back in the safe room? Your fireproof room that you've been kept in the past few days.
Maybe that would be best. I'm really feeling hot, and he like starts to
leave your buttons on. Leave them on. Leave them on.
They're clasped.
Are you picking up my phone? Can we get some escorts in here?
He pops one off and just grabs it with his teeth and pulls it off, and then he unclasps the other one, and he like reaches down, touches your metal desk, and you can start to see like the paint boiling off of it.
Mr. Pellick, I'm gonna have to ask you to stop.
He shoves back. I'm sorry. I can't take it anymore, and he starts unbuttoning his shirt.
That's hot.
Sorry.
So I did just call for escorts. So they should be.
He pulls his shirt off and he just begins like wiping sweat off of his face and arms and everything, and his hands are starting to get this cherry glow to them.
Mr. Pellick, we need to put your gloves back on.
I can't. It's. So what happens is that his countenance just changes, and he's like, at this point he's been looking really afraid of what's going on, and all of a sudden he just stops talking, and he just looks at you, and he smiles really big, and it sounds like his voice drops quite a bit, and someone goes, "What's the matter? You a little afraid?"
Mr. Pellick, we need to get this under control.
He's not here right now, but you can leave a message at the sound of the explosion. Pellick's hands just lights up like a torch. Are you sure you really want me to go? I can be most persuasive in interrogation procedures. And shoves his hand towards your face.
How far away from him?
It's just on the other side of the desk. It's not a very large desk either. It's only about 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
Because you're just a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Your desk gets larger and larger as you go up in rank.
As it does in the real world.
Yeah.
You see this TV tray stand?
Vincent.
No drawers, nothing.
Just a flat piece of wood. You think your desk at one point was a drop-down tray in an airplane?
Well, when he punches towards me, I dodge.
Okay. He's going to go ahead and roll brawling to try and hit you with a flaming fist.
Jordan's first roll of the new campaign rolls a 6 on his wild die.
Yes, but so did mine.
Which means Jordan's just getting warmed up, and Johnny, you've used up your luck for the rest of the session.
I rolled a 23 to dodge.
Well, I rolled a 14. So what happens at this point is that you're able to get out of the way, but he slams his fist into the wooden wall that was separating your office from the next one over.
He has a really long arm.
No, it's a very narrow office.
Yeah, I know, but like you have the 3 foot of the desk, and then the place for my chair.
Well, it's sort of like he swung at you, and then
It's
just
just,
collided
so
inside.
it's sideways.
Yeah.
Hook punch.
Yeah. And so you like dodged out of the way and he
Hit the
missed
sidewall.
you. Yes. Immediately you can just smell the charring of the wood. And this is a smell that just strikes terror into your heart.
Yes. Are the escorts there yet?
Even a rod.
Yes.
They weren't that far away.
I didn't think they would be. But
Yeah, so the door bursts open and there are 3 soldiers in fire retardant gear. And they go to try and grab him, and he goes to get out of the way. You know, when you're dealing with unstable fire proxy, then you probably would want a little bit more protection. 11. So they go to grab him, and he tries to get out of the way. Doesn't really succeed. They're able to grab hold of him, but he trips and he falls on the floor. He's laughing all the way down as like his torso just bursts into flame as he belly flops across the floor.
We need to get him extinguished quickly.
Is there fire extinguishers in the or like a
Fire extinguisher? No, sprinkler system.
sprinkler? Yeah.
I would imagine there's a sprinkler system in the building, but I don't know that they would have ignited just yet. They have to reach a certain temperature before they go off.
Okay.
Ideally, you stop the fire before it does go off.
Even or odd?
Ah.
You're on the wrong side of the fire. He's
Well, I know that.
yeah. He's got you. You're not able to get around to the
Not
the
easily,
exit.
anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have they grabbed the hold of him?
Yes, they're wearing the flame-resistant mittens as well. Yeah, it's like pulling a pan out of the oven. Oh, this chocolate lava cake is going to be amazing.
Alright, so I say the last one head out. Get an extinguisher in here quickly!
Okay.
Should that be a command roll?
Yes.
Alright.
But it's going to be a very easy one because, he definitely wants to help you out with that.
Good thing it's easy. 13
Yeah, you definitely succeed.
with 5 dice though.
So you rolled on a moderate level. He runs out. Fortunately, there are fire extinguishers like stationed on the wall between each office door because they realize
That's kind of the nature of the work we do.
yeah, exactly. And the nature of elementals being what they are, and they start spraying the room down. But it's taking effect. But he's able to just reach out, he's just as he's being pulled out of the room. He's trying to get his hands out from the retardant that's being sprayed down. And he's touching things, trying to light everything he can on fire as he's being pulled out of the room. He managed to actually get one hand into the wastebasket, which was full of papers and everything like that, and so that catches on fire. You're still in the room, I would imagine.
Well, that's why I was telling you to get the extinguisher for get room out, not him.
Okay.
So
They grab the fire extinguisher, and they toss it to you.
alright.
And you'll need 3 moderate successes to put out the fire.
Alright, what am I rolling for that?
Coordination.
No alarms have gone off.
Not at this point.
This is very close.
I'd say give it one more minute and then it would.
Either coordination or reflexes.
I would think coordination because the
You're
aiming.
trying to get at the. Okay.
That's 11.
And a moderate success is 11 to 15. So that's one success. 12. Very good. 13.
All right. More than 13. 18.
All right. So you're able to put out the office fire, but now the floor feels very unstable.
Well, sure, but because it was just burning.
Yep.
But I want to be able to get out of the room. As soon as the fire's out, I leave the room, and I help start spraying the
Okay.
Mr. Pellick with the retardant.
Okay. So as you do that, he manages to spread the fire even more. Like as you're putting out the room, they're like trying to drag him out and get him under control, but he's just growing hotter and hotter. And actually, it starts melting the gloves.
We have to get him out of this building.
I would imagine you hit the fire alarm?
Yeah, I hit the fire alarm.
So you're in this meeting now with Major Illix.
Oh, so I'm in the meeting.
Yes. Brings you into his office and he sits you down in a nice chair. How can I help you today?
Well, I've been hired to investigate a string of arson, and I have a series of thermal images here that show a distinct heat signature over the course of the last 2 years. Very distinct. Before the events of a fire have taken place. The most recent was in a training facility operated and overseen by this building.
So you're saying that you believe that a soldier, or you believe that there's something setting off fires that's related to the base?
I believe it's a fire elemental that is setting off these fires. And he shows the thermal images of 4 different dates. The last one being, I guess, 2 months ago.
Okay. Well, you're saying that you believe this elemental is somehow attached to the military.
This is where these images have led me. And I know that the military does do a lot of bonding with elementals. So maybe one of your newer soldiers has bonded to an elemental that has been causing problems for many years before.
That is a possibility. But if it was an elemental that was... Have you noticed a change in the patterns at all? Like, has the frequency changed, or has it been something that's been at specific times of the year or anything like that? What are some of the other...
I haven't noticed any specific times. There's been 4 cases over the past 2 years of unexplained fires, and there has been a convenient explanation that has been given to these fires, but no one has an explanation for these heat signatures that I've picked up on these thermal images, which is why I was hired to investigate.
Sure. What is your intention at this point?
I would like to just do a simple interview with newly trained soldiers that are fire proxies. Just some simple questions.
We might be able to arrange that, but you would need to have a military police escort.
That's fine.
Let me go ahead and get some records together, and then we'll go ahead and get started. This might take a day or two to gather all the records of fire proxy soldiers that are here in the base. If you don't mind, let me go ahead and show you to the door. And as he stands up to take you out, that's when the fire alarm goes off. The alarm goes off.
Julian's gonna be like, to the major, fire alarm? Question.
Yes.
Fire, and then he says it more sober. Fire alarm. Curious.
It's not as much of a surprise as you would think. He seems to be like keeping his cool about him pretty well. Sometimes there are issues. It's not always with fire elemental or fire proxies, but sometimes soldiers don't acclimate well to their environment. But let's go ahead and go down. We need to be evacuating right now. So let's go ahead and continue this while we go down the stairs.
Okay. And he pulls out a lighter.
Okay.
Like a Zippo style lighter. And lights it and just holds it out to the major and says, "It's not what you think. Just hold this."
Okay, he takes it.
Julian reaches out and just puts his 2 fingers at the tip of the flame.
Okay.
And now he can sense if there is a fire elemental
In the
within
building?
100 meters of him.
Okay.
Well, there definitely is.
The answer is yes.
Probably more than one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's about 20 of them.
Within 100 meters? Oh my goodness.
A lot of people work in the building, and there's an entire floor between you and where the fire is happening. Is there a specific reason that you're touching the flame?
Because that's part of how I built the
spell?
the spell.
Go ahead and describe the spell for us, since this is the first time you're using it.
The spell, I can communicate telepathically with any elemental within 100 meters. Even if the elemental does not wish to communicate back, I can still sense their presence and general state of mind.
Okay.
Oh, forgot to do the willpower check. I
Okay.
have to do a willpower check, and I have to have necessary components and gestures and the aid of another person to actually make this work.
So that was the
So
lighter.
That was
the,
why you-
Willing or unwilling, yeah.
the
That's good.
willpower check, which we can do to see components, I have to have something that refers to the element of the elemental I'm trying to.
To load
That's why you have a jar of dirt.
That's why I have a jar of dirt. Yes. So there needs to be someone assisting, which someone.
The major.
The major is actually holding the flame. That's the component, and the gesture is me touching the flame. So willpower check, and
You sent me your...
well, okay. Are we going to use the difficulty as the willpower check?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So the difficulty for fire would be 8.
Okay. So that's a pretty easy check to make.
So you roll your whatever the magic is for that spell.
No, we roll willpower. I do the
willpower
willpower
for your-
check. 3 plus 1.
For your thing, yeah.
13.
13? Cool. So you are able to successfully reach out. And you can tell there's a difference there. There's, like I said, there was, what, 20?
About 20.
Yeah, about 20 there. And some of the proxies just seem like they're doing A-okay. Others, like you can tell, like 2 floors down, there's at least 2 or 3 elementals that are very concerned about something that's happening. And you also sense one that is burning brighter than all of the others, just mentally speaking. It's like you can see little candles in your mind, right?
Okay.
So some of them are like just burning like a normal flame, like a normal candle in a controlled environment. They're different colors of flames, which is kind of a cool effect. Like you can see some blue ones, some red ones. Some of them are slightly greenish in color. And this one is just burning white hot. And it's like, instead of just like a candle flame, it's like a oil lamp that has the wick too long. And so it's just like flickering really fast. And you can tell that
Very
this one
agitated.
is very agitated, yes.
Okay, so general state of mind is agitated.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to try and communicate with it
Okay.
and persuade it to just calm down.
Okay. That would be pretty difficult to do, because this one, it seems to be taking some kind of perverse pleasure in how much it's burning.
Yes, but that ability gives me plus 4d
Okay.
to the persuasion, which to persuade an elemental for Julian, that's 60 plus 1.
Okay.
So basically, he just communicating with it, saying, "Calm down. You're going to destroy the entire complex."
Okay.
And while he's doing this, the major would notice that Julian starts sweating.
Okay.
Was your hand still over the flame?
No. Oh! 1 on the wild die.
Oh.
So, as a reminder for those of you who have listened but don't know, the 1 on the wild die means that the die that has the highest number gets taken away in addition to the wild die. So, what did you roll?
I rolled a 15.
That is unfortunately not what I had assigned as a
Yeah,
target number. So, you tell this fire elemental to calm down. He's going to cause the whole building to burn. And you just hear, "That's what I want." And Chime, you actually hear Pellic shouting, "That's what I want!" And then you can see that he bursts into even higher flame, and it looks like his skin is actually beginning to be consumed. And you can smell like this roasting meat smell.
Smells like bacon.
And meatballs.
And onions. And habanero. Barbecue sauce.
You all will have to wait a few weeks to hear that reference. What that reference is all about.
So, upon hearing that, Julian just reaches out, looks at the Major deadpan in the face, and is like, "You have a fire elemental trying to burn down your complex." Takes his lighter and just starts to walk away from him.
Fire alarm going off.
Fire alarm going off. That means
Fire
that
department should be on their
the
way.
fire department is on their way.
And Sam is at the door.
It looks like we're going to have to wait to find out what happens next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means that you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @bonethrowerstheater, and also you can look us up on Facebook. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.